Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Kickback. I am your host, The Dude, and today is Tuesday. So, every Tuesday we do a Topic Tuesday where we bring on people that are ordinary, that do extraordinary things in their life. So, we like to welcome you to another episode. And as I say every episode, I love everybody. So, in the spirit of International Women's Month, we have another amazing story from another amazing woman tonight. Dave, how are you tonight, my brother?
Doing just fine, my brother. How about yourself?
Man, I am doing amazing, man. It has been a beautiful day, but this weather's been so up and down, man. I just don't know what to think of it. It starts out really, really chilly early in the morning times, and then in the afternoon it's like sweltering. So, it is up and down here in Tennessee where we are. It is up and down and it's sweltering, but it kind of evened out this afternoon. It is not as hot as it has been but it's still hot, hotter than I would have liked it to be, going from what we went from to this from early this morning. Maybe we could have had the temperature that we have right now, you know, at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock. Maybe we could have had these temperatures then, but it waited to the afternoon to cool off. And from what the weather says, it's going to be a swelter this week. And, last week it was kind of chilly and we had rain and all those different things.
Yeah.
This
Typical
weather.
Tennessee weather.
Yeah, exactly. Typical Tennessee weather, man. And I don't think other people really recognize or understand. We are the northernmost southern point in a lot of places, because we are the gateway into the north and we are the opening into the south. Looks like we have our special guest in the building tonight. I want everyone to welcome Miss Nakia Campbell. How are you tonight, ma'am?
Hey, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing fine. Welcome to the Kickback. This is a place where we like to have honest, true, vulnerable conversations. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get into your personal life and we're going to dig into it, but we like to have honest conversations about life, love, marriage, children, and whatever it is that you have going on. I am your host, The Dude, and of course, my co-host, Mr. David Van Cleves, is always in the building with us. But 9 times out of 10, he's just going to hang out in the background and take care of some other business for us. How are you this afternoon?
I am well.
You're well. Okay, so what part of the country are you in right now? Because from what I understand, you are a traveler.
I love to travel. Yes, I am. I'm in Middle Tennessee.
Okay, so am I. So is Tennessee your home or is it just where you landed?
Well, born here, went away when I was in the military, and then came back.
All righty, that's wonderful. So I am also born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee, been here my whole entire life. What do you think about this weather?
It's crazy. It is crazy. It will be cold one day, hot the next day. That's why these hospitals are just full of sick people.
Right,
This weather
right.
has,
So, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
I said,
interrupt you.
the weather has a mind of its own.
Yes, it does have a mind of its own. So here at the Kickback, what I like to tell all my guests is I do my interviews like a mullet. We're going to get all the business out in the front and then we're going to have a little fun on the back end. So what I need for you is to explain to my audience your name. Of course, we know you're from Middle Tennessee, but what you've done, who you are, and what you're passionate about.
Okay. So my name is Nakia Campbell. I am located in Tullahoma, Tennessee. I am a licensed massage therapist. I'm also a nurse and an esthetician. However, massage is my passion right now. I have my own massage studio here in Tullahoma. I am very passionate about traveling and self-care and just self-awareness.
All righty. So passionate about traveling, passionate about self-care and self-awareness. And you said a licensed esthetician?
Correct.
All righty. So explain to the people who don't know technical terms what an esthetician actually is.
So, an esthetician is a skincare specialist in the state of Tennessee. You have to be licensed in order to take care of other people's skin or remove hair or to we tint eyebrows, we tint lashes, we do chemical peels. So you have to be licensed in the state of Tennessee. You have to go to school, and it's approximately 600 hours. I believe. It was when I went to school. That was about 11 to 12 years ago. So
Understandable. So we are a veteran. What branch of the military are we a veteran from?
go Navy.
Go Navy. Okay. And how long did we spend in the Navy?
I was a short termer. I did 2 years and had children, got out early and came home and took care of the kids and then became a nurse afterwards. And as my children were getting older and had a grandchild, decided I wanted to make sure I could spend more time with him than I did with my kids because as a nurse, I was always I was always working 16-hour shifts, 12, 16-hour shifts. So I missed my kids growing up, but I was determined not to do that with my grandson.
Okay. So grandma is the loved person in the family always. So the grandbabies love their grandma because it sounds like you are the person that spoils your grandchildren.
I do. As a single parent, I wasn't able to do it for my kids, so I definitely do it for my grandkids. They're my world. I have one that he made me a grandma early on, but he's my little buddy. He's about to turn 13 and he's still my buddy. Whatever, if Gigi's around, it's him and Gigi.
It's him and Gigi. Now, let's talk about your passion for people because from what I understand during COVID, you kind of switched lanes a little bit. What was it that what was the driving force behind switching lanes during COVID?
So the driving force behind switching lanes was I have a daughter that was 22 and right before COVID, she had a car wreck and she broke her neck and broke her leg. And so she had a long recovery. And then my grandson, my grandchildren's mother, she was a kidney transplant. She was on the list for a kidney transplant. And so I knew that working in and out of the hospital and it was going to be it was going to be hard to keep them from getting anything. And truth be told, I brought COVID home and gave it to them both. Tried not to. And so I just wanted them to stay healthy. And it really just, COVID changed a lot of things for me about how I thought about doing things. I've always been taught you get a job, you work, you work, you work, you work. And now I don't believe that. I believe that, you have to balance work with play. You need to enjoy life because life is very short for some of us. And, you know, I'd rather say that I did it and missed out on work than I didn't and missed out on my family.
Understandable. I get that, but shame on you. You brought COVID home to them babies. Shame on you. You brought COVID. Hey, but I think COVID might have, I don't know if I brought it home or what. I had it on my clothes or something because during the pandemic, I was a chef at a assistant. Well, it wasn't assistant. It was a independent living facility. And
Mm-hmm.
so, children and older people are more success, the word I'm trying to say, I can't get it out, to catching things. As many protocols as we had in place and as many things as we tried to do to keep people in the building and not going out, people still were going out and people were still doing things and they brought it into the building. And even though we worked in the building and then they kind of separated the crew, in the kitchen, it's still hard to separate people in the kitchen because you still got to walk past somebody because you got to go to the pantry or I need to cook something over here. So I think it still made its way through, but
Mm-hmm.
it was An experience in itself because they made us essential workers because the building was open 365 days, 7 days a week, and we had to cook 3 meals a day. Didn't matter what, because these people lived here. This was their home. This was everything to them. And so I think we may have got it at the house. I know my wife caught it, but I didn't have it. But my wife caught it. I think my son, we don't know if he actually had it or if he had a cold, but it kind of made its way through the house. But so we are a dedicated grandma that spoils all the kids. We are a traveler. We are Navy person. We are esthetician. Those are a lot of titles to carry.
It is. I'm an overachiever.
Sounds like it. Sounds like you wanna be at the head of the class and the teacher's pet.
Oh yeah. I like being a teacher's pet.
No, well, hey, some of us do, some of us don't. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong
No,
with
there's
being a teacher's pet.
benefits to it.
It is benefits to being at the head of the class, and there's also benefits of being the teacher's pet. So tell everyone about the camper.
Oh, so in, how was it, 2021 during COVID, I had always wanted a camper, but I knew that with truck prices being what they were, and then I knew I could not afford one of those big old classy RVs. So I gotten this idea. I had started watching YouTube, and anybody who watches YouTube know that it's like a rabbit hole.
YouTube University will get you every time. Been there, done that.
So I saw a young lady who she took a schoolie, 4-window bus, and she turned it into a camper. And so I was like, wow. And you know that during that time, they gave us them good old stimuluses. And I was like, okay, I was like, this is not part of the budget. So I went online, and it was called public auction. And I bid on a bus, not knowing anything about the bus. And so, lo and behold, I won the bus, but it was weird because there was a church that was bidding against me. And they were like, they messaged me and they were like, do you really want this bus? And I was like, yeah, I'm like a grandma and I want to take my kids camping and so on. And so I won the bus. I took off and went to Oklahoma, didn't tell anybody I was going. Had my friend drop me off at the airport, went to Oklahoma and drove it back. That was in May. I got home May 1st. And my first camping trip was in June. So I tore out the seats, ripped up the floors. I just tore it down to bare metal. So then there's a book called Schoolies, and how to build a schoolie. And it told you from the beginning of ripping it out to the end. And so I took and built a bus, and it was the best thing that I've ever done. I have a full size bed with the 8-inch mattress on it. I have a kitchen. I built a bench, and it is just so comfortable. It's so funny because people see it and it's purple, and everybody knows it's me because purple's my favorite color. But I have been interviewed twice by different channels on YouTube for building out my bus. And it was, and it helped me to realize that done is better than perfection sometimes, because sometimes if we wait for perfection, we won't do it. And so me just doing it, gave me it gave me confidence in myself, a confidence that I didn't have, because I figured I did not know how to use a drill correctly. I didn't know how to hold a drill. And my best friend, she laughs because she also built out hers too, but she has lots more experience. But it was one of the proudest moments when I was able to take off and go camping for a week, and just, it was so peaceful. And so I was hooked.
Right. So, amen to that. What you just said about perfection. And so true because a lot of us feel like it, and I'm guilty of that. I'm one of those people that in certain projects, if I don't get it perfected, then I'll throw it away. I have a bad habit of that. I really do. I have a bad habit of that. And I hadn't come to that place where you are, where you said, good enough is good enough as long as it does the job. And I want to say kudos to you for being adventurous, because we need a lot more people to be that adventurous. Like you said, nobody knew you were going. You got your best friend to drop you off at the airport. You flew to Oklahoma not knowing if this van ran, what was mechanically wrong with it. You saw pictures, of course, but pictures sometimes lie, because I've been in the car industry, so I know people know how to take pictures and hide imperfections and things of that nature. So you didn't really know what particular order this thing was in, but you took a step out on faith. And for that, my sister, I give you all the praise in the world.
I didn't. And I tell people all the time that it was a God thing because first of all, I was so stressed during COVID. My mental health definitely declined during COVID because I didn't know that I was, even though I'm an introvert, I thrive when I'm around people. Whereas when I'm alone, it's like, So, like I said, it was a God thing because I got the stimulus that we didn't know we was getting. Then I won the bus because the church, and I was sure that I wasn't going to win it. So I happened to go to this, it was Oklahoma, and it was like this town that nobody had ever heard of. However, the bus was in great condition because they had kept it up. They had put it right before COVID, they had put a new motor in it. When I got there, they filled my gas tank up, and so it was something that was needed for me, and she was definitely for me. So she has been great. I took her to Canada. We did a month-long trip up to Michigan to the Upper Peninsula. So it's been an adventure.
Well, you know what? That is something, like you said, it was what you needed. And the fact that you stepped out on faith and you did these things, that's an inspiration in itself. And from what I've seen from your content that you've put online, and also reading your bio, you started a women's group?
I did. I started a women's camping group. In my first camping trip, we went to Cumberland Mountain State Park, and we had 25 women come in. I had a woman come from New York. I had women from Alabama, from Georgia, and Tennessee. And we all just got together and camped and had a great time. A great time. So it's about that time again to start camping. So I'm looking into planning some things for this summer. So
How hard was it to organize and get all these people together from all these different places, and how did they enjoy the experience of meeting? I'm pretty sure it was just women, right? Or was it like
yes, it was
couples?
just women.
It was just women. Okay.
And first, it was for some who had not. It was women from all walks of life, women who were retired. There were women who were still working. There were teachers, there were nurses, and everybody just came together. I had a plan, and the plan was just so that we did games so people got to know each other. We did a potluck so everyone we could break bread together. We also went on hikes together. So it was great because I didn't think as many women were going to come as came from different places. And then I was like, when people started rolling in, I was like, oh my God, shocked. But we just had the best time. It was something for everybody, and everybody got along. You did what you wanted to do, didn't do what you didn't want to do. It was just it was just good
So
bonding.
how many fights were it?
fun. There might have been some fights afterwards.
I mean, I'm making general conversation and I'm actually just
Yes.
being sarcastic and funny because
No, you're not being just sarcastic and funny because when you get a bunch of women in one place.
right. Okay, so
You want-
let's just be honest then. You get
Let's just be yes.
you know different you get different age groups because you got
Yes.
you have the what is it, the silent generation, and then you got the baby boomers, and then you've got Gen X, and then you've got the millennials, and then you've got the Z's.
Now we
So
didn't have any millennials or Z's.
good,
I can
right?
tell you that.
Hey,
We didn't have
wonderful then.
we didn't have any of those, but we had the oldest woman I think was 70.
Right.
And
So
the youngest one was probably about 30. But, all of us had raised our families. We all have either been married and divorced or married and husband doesn't want to camp or whatever. But it was just really good bonding time with sisters. And we got to talk about things, that you can't talk about with your husband
of
or,
course.
so it was a good thing.
Now, how did you organize and where did you put this together? Is this a Facebook group? Is this?
Yes, it's on Facebook. It's called Tullahoma Girlfriends Club.
Okay.
And so I just went on Facebook, because I see people are always asking me, I wish you would let me know when you're doing something. And so I was like, okay, let's throw it out there. So I threw it out there. I picked a park that I knew would have openings for everybody. I went ahead and signed up for my spot. And then I went ahead and told all the ladies where I would be so they could go ahead and book their spots. So everybody booked their spots. Some told me that they had booked and some didn't. So we all booked and we had people we had me and my best friend in our buses. We had another lady that was in a full size bus. We had 3 ladies that were in their, I think it's called like the Chevy vans. You remember the old vans
Yeah,
that the
like
families used to have when y'all were going out?
yes, ma'am. I do remember those vans. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we even had 2 that was in 2 in tents, and then we had a lady with one of the little Ford Transit Connect. So it was
Okay. That is, I mean, it's wonderful that, like you said, you could get that many people together. And being a Nashville native and being from Tennessee my whole entire life, I think sometimes people don't think, when outsiders, people from other states, they don't look at us as being as venturous as we are and having the ability to touch the world unless we're singing. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because Tennessee's known for what? Memphis is known for the blues. Nashville's known for country music. So they don't think that we have a reach unless we're standing on a stage entertaining people. But, you talk about where you live at now, and it brings up funny stories because years ago, and I mean probably 20 years ago, in the middle of Tullahoma, there's a Waffle House.
Uh-huh.
And I used to do security there years ago when it was really, really rough and really, really wild. And yeah.
Now everybody done got old, and the roughness is people waiting for a seat to get in on Saturday. That's about it.
Really? But this used to be like Fridays and Saturday nights when they used to have nightclubs that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That was probably when they had the clubs down here.
Yeah. And the Waffle House it was rough. I say
It was the after spot. See, that was people coming from everywhere. I can guarantee you 90% of them people wasn't from Tullahoma.
Oh, no. They wasn't from Tullahoma. No. 99.9% of those people were not from Tullahoma, but the club was like around the corner up the street somewhere. It was like a little row of bars or something, and everybody came there and hung out. And that, like you said, the Waffle House was an after spot. And we did security there for about 2 or 3 years, me and my brother and a couple other guys. And by the time we left there, it had pretty much calmed down. I think one or two of the clubs had gotten shut down, and people were going to Murfreesboro or other places to party, and they were no longer coming to, is it Manchester or
Yep.
McMinnville? Manchester?
Manchester.
Manchester.
Mancatcher, as we call it.
They were coming out of Mancatcher, coming over to Tullahoma and partying and tearing up the city and then going back home. So, being that you have all these titles, what are you studying now? What is the new adventure that Miss Campbell is on now?
So I am in school right now. I am studying business management. I have had a business for 11 years. I think it'll be 11 years come April. And I pursuing my degree in business management with a concentration on medical office. And that'll help me to do some behind the scenes work. I've always worked with people, hands on touching people. However, I think it's time for a career change and working behind the scenes, probably doing some coding or some office management from
Right.
afar.
Yeah, I don't
That's what's
want
on.
to touch you no more. Stop. Get away from me. Everybody's weird now. I don't want to touch you. Get away from me. So what about your massage business? Are you still going to do that?
Oh yeah, I'll do that for a while until
So you still touching people?
Well, I have gotten my practice. My practice now is one of the practices where I don't see people that I don't like. People that don't bring me joy, people that like steal my energy. I will fairly happily refer you to somebody else.
Amen.
So, yeah,
Amen.
so my clients I love, most of my clients have become like family. And I probably see a good 10 to 15 people a week, which for most people, they're like, what? Yeah. So most massage therapists don't work a 40-hour week because of the hands on. So I see 10 to 15 people, and my clients they bring me joy. For so long, I had to do it because I had to do it. Now I'm at the point where I can do it because I enjoy it. I told a client today, as a matter of fact, she's like, she's she's in her 70s. I love her. I see her every week for an hour massage. And I'm like, her and her husband are talking about moving to Franklin. I'm like, you can't leave me. So she's more like family than she is a client.
But they say if you find something that you love, you never work a day in your life.
And it don't feel like work now. It does not feel like work. As a matter of fact, I just finished up giving a client a 2-hour massage, and it was just, first of all, it was what she needed, and then it was calming for me. When you can go to work and if you're stressed out and go to work and what you're doing calms you down, settles your spirit. I'm like, that's what I enjoy.
That's what we're doing right now. This is what calms my spirit. This is what gives me the love. I love having great conversations with great people. And before you came on, I always introduce, when I do my intro to the show, I say, we have conversations with ordinary people doing extraordinary things in this world. And that's what you're doing. You're an ordinary person, but you've done some extraordinary things in this world. This women's camping group, being the massage therapist who now treats her clients as family. And like you said, this 70-something-year-old woman, she needed that. And I'm pretty sure you guys have conversations, and their families, and their kids, and you've really I don't know how long you've had these particular clients, but they've become family. And it's like that for me here on the Kickback. Majority of the people I interview become family, and I've made some connections with them. And I tell people all the time, this is therapeutic to me. So it's not a job. It's having great conversations with people. I don't want to come on here. I don't have a script. I have a script, but 9 times out of 10, I don't use my script because it's so generic to the radio space. A lot of people are like, man, that's the same question somebody asked me on the other show. So I base my experience on just having a genuine conversation about life. Just let's talk about where you're at, who you are, what's your ambitions in life, what do you see, where you see this world. Nothing too personal. And if like I just told you about Tullahoma, I worked in Tullahoma. You
Mhm.
saying Tullahoma was like it brought up nostalgia of those moments of being there and knowing what I did in Tullahoma and what I shouldn't have been doing in Tullahoma. And yeah. That's why it brought up some questionable events that me and my brother involved ourselves in while we were in Tullahoma. That little bitty small town, when I
Yeah.
say Tullahoma almost got us in some real trouble.
Well, it has definitely grown. It's definitely not that Tullahoma anymore. It's growing. I was telling my client today, I was like, I lived in Murfreesboro before it started, before the boom started. And I can see the same thing happening in Tullahoma because we're getting a Panera. Who would
What?
ever who would
What?
ever think that you getting a Panera bread?
But Joby Jackson is about to get
A Bucky's. I will
yes.
be there. I will be there when they open. I will be in line.
See, me and the wife just for spring break, because I drive I drive a Metro school bus.
Uh-huh.
So for spring break, we're out with the kids or whatever. So me and the wife decided that we were going to go to Florida, and we drove, and about an hour and a half outside of Nashville in Alabama is a Bucky's.
Yeah.
We spent more money
And
inside of Bucky's versus buying gas.
I will tell you, Bucky's is my guilty pleasure. Now, I take that back. You asked, was there an argument during the camping trip? It was because I wanted to go to Bucky's. And somebody was like, Bucky's is not a destination. I'm like, for me, it is.
It is. It is a destination. Some people don't see that. And I tell you what, when you say that, you remind me of a video I just watched earlier on TikTok, and the young lady was breaking down Bucky's, and that's exactly what she said. She says Bucky's is a destination. You don't get out to fill up, you disembark from your vehicle and you go on an adventure inside of
Please.
Bucky's. You Bucky's. I tell you what, when we know we're going somewhere where there's a Bucky, it's more excitement to go to Bucky's than it is to go to the actual destination
Yes.
that
You got to put Bucky's on the itinerary. I have probably 9 or 10 Bucky's blankets. I go into Bucky's to see what their new blanket is for the holidays, for each holiday. So my kids are like, you got another blanket? Yes, I do. You don't have a problem with it.
No, you got a problem. They don't have a problem. You got the problem because every time a new blanket come out, you gotta have it. So you got a Bucky's blanket problem, but it's a good problem to have. And I think it's amazing that we're able to enjoy what God has blessed us with, to be able to indulge in those type of things. Like this time I bought a hat, I bought a lanyard. The next time I go, I'll probably buy another hat. I'm going to start a collection of Bucky hats. So I get it. I understand where you're at. I get it.
Blankets are so soft. And I'm like, I come home and my recliner is a Bucky's blanket beside it. And I will sit in the chair and do homework, and my dog will get on the other side. And we are just happy.
Hey, you're in your happy place, man. Bucky's is a happy place. So that's wonderful. So we are esthetician, we are a massage therapist, and we are a Supergirl traveling hero. How many states have we been to in the United States? Hello?
I'm here. Say that again. I'm sorry. I lost my connection.
I said, how many states have we been to in the United States?
Let me count. Okay. I'm going to start with the A's. I've been to Alabama,
Of
I've been
course,
to
it's down the street.
Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Saw that in the video.
And let's see. I've been to Colorado. I have been to, let's see, been to Colorado. Haven't been to any of the D's, I don't think.
Okay, so we're at three so far.
Okay, so North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky. I've been to Ohio, Illinois,
We're at 11,
Louisiana.
12,
I've been to Arkansas,
13,
St. Louis, Missouri.
14,
I went to Wisconsin and Michigan,
15, 16,
Oklahoma, Texas,
17, 18.
New Mexico, Wyoming,
We're at 20,
California, Nevada.
22,
And that's
21. Yeah, 22. Okay, 22. So you've been to probably half of the states because you've traveled through. Even if you didn't stop, you've traveled through some
no,
other
them are all
states.
states that I have spent one night in.
Okay, well that's wonderful. All the states that you spent one night in, you've done more than me. So, and you've probably done a lot more than a lot of people when it comes to traveling. What now? I know you talked about your grandkids and how you didn't get to be there for your children, so you're there for your grandkids. But what about you? What's the driving force behind Miss Campbell to do all of these things and just maneuver the way you maneuver? Because a lot of people don't have the faith nor the strength to do all the things that you've done.
So for me, it coming out of the military, after coming out of the military, I didn't know who I was. I didn't my identity had always been caught up in someone else. And so I had wanted to find out who I was. So my aunt, who's passed away, she raised me, and she was always one to say, go for it. She would always just throw the rock and see where it landed, and she was gone. And she had this love of travel and love of cruising and just seeing different things that always seemed to make her excited and happy. And so I wanted that for myself. I wanted to find out who I was. I wanted to know that wherever I was, that I could take care of me. I could take care of me and I could keep me safe. Because for a long time, I didn't have that confidence in myself. And so over the past few years, I have been in therapy, and it has just been, it's people who know me now say that I'm just a different person.
Amen. Listen to that. The healing. The healing. So many people in the African American community don't understand what you just said, and they're living in their traumatic experiences, and then they're passing it on to their children.
Yes.
They're living in their traumatic experiences and passing it on to their children. And at our big ages, because you're not that far away from me, I'm in the mid fours. You just hit the fives. So we grew up in a time where things were totally different than they are now. We live in a totally different world, as where our parents and grandparents didn't believe in therapy or finding out what the root cause of whatever it is that you're going through. Now we're exploring those territories and finding out that what happened to grandma, she passed it on to mama, and then mama passed that on to me, and now I don't want to pass that on to my grandchildren.
Exactly. And I have it's a huge one. My mom, for years, when I first started therapy, they were like, well, how the African American community is. Normally it's either a laugh or it's pray about it. And I was like, well, God wants you to pray about it, but he wants you to do something about it too. And so last year, after me being in counseling for 4 years, therapy, my mom decided she was going to go to therapy, and it has changed our relationship. It has been tremendous.
Praise
So
God for
that is,
that.
it's been such a healing journey for both of us.
Praise God for that. And the fact that it took, are you the oldest child or are you the youngest
I
child?
am not. I'm basically the middle child. I'm the second oldest. I have a brother who's older than me. And then I have two sisters that are same age as my daughter.
Okay, so you must be the trendsetter. You must be the person that everybody looks to for advice and to save them, because it
I'm
usually
the mama. I'm
that
like the mama.
that is.
I'm like the mama. Like my sisters know that my little sisters know they can't get anything over on me. And so, and my brother, he's older, he does his thing, but I'm the one who my mom says that she always says that she didn't worry about because she knew I was going to be fine.
Man, don't you hate that?
I
Don't
do.
you
And
hate that?
for a minute, I didn't know how to tell her that even though I'm going to be fine, I want you to worry about me too,
I
because
want you.
sometimes,
I want some of the titty too. I
yeah,
want some of the titty too. Dang it.
yeah,
I mean, in my case, I'm the oldest. I'm the
hmm,
oldest boy, and I'm still that one, even to this day. Like you said, I'm the one, even though I'm the oldest, but still, my mother was. That's what my mother used to say. You the one I ain't got to worry about. You the one I know you gonna make a way. I know you gonna figure it out. I know you gonna fix it. And she calls me, my car broke down, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. And I'm like, I got other siblings. Can't you call them ninjas?
right.
Call them ninjas. Call them. You call me for
And
everything.
that used to bother me, but now it doesn't that she calls me, because I know that with my mom that it takes a whole lot for her to ask for anything or to say that she needs anything. But, you know, when she does voice that, I'm like, okay. But now my mom has gotten to the point where, like, with me working, she'll call me every day, me massaging and going to school. And she'll call me and she's like, are you okay? Are you sure you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And so she's like, she'll be like, make sure you get your rest. Make sure.
But
Like,
you say you're okay, but once you hang up that phone, you're like, oh, she loves me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. You
exactly.
get that, ooh, she loves me. It get on your nerves, but then you're like, ooh, my mama
Yeah,
love me. Ooh, my mama love me.
exactly.
So I get it. I understand. It being, I think for me, for years, being that strong of a person, it
Yeah.
just kind of bothered me sometimes.
Yep.
It bothered me sometimes because it seemed like everything. At one point in time, I felt like I had to rescue everybody. I had to take care of everybody. I had to, if there was a problem with granny or mom, auntie, or my brothers or somebody, I was the go-to guy. Now I have older cousins, I have
Hmm.
uncles, I have all these people, but it would always be me. They would always call me. Your grandma need to move, or you got to. Grandma said come over and move a chair, or grandma said this, and I'm like, there's that ninja, and 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 there's her son that she birthed into this world, and there's her other son over there, and the other son. Well, we know you reliable. We know you gonna be the one that's gonna come through.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But I have also learned in that situation that sometimes you have to take care of you. So if that means saying no to somebody, that's okay. Don't feel bad about it. Saying no, no, as my therapist tells me, is a complete sentence.
Yes, it is. And it took me a while.
Yep.
I hit the fours and
Hmm.
something changed in my life. And it was God. God changed, he changed the chemical in my brain. And I started saying no. And at the point of saying no to my family, the family structure and dynamics changed. I turned into a bougie bastard that couldn't do anything for anybody anymore because I didn't want to show up for people the way they couldn't show up for me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and that happens, and you have to be okay with that being the narrative. I mean, people, they'll say, so I have nieces that I love, but there's one she always calls and makes sure that I'm okay. The other two, not so much. So mom was like, well, you do for this one, you don't. I'm like, I do for that one because she checks on me to make sure I'm okay. So I'm okay with the other two not calling me. People have to know that boundaries are a good thing. Setting boundaries has definitely changed my life because I used to be the one who would go do everything, and under my breath I'm huffing and puffing and mad. But who am I mad at? Nobody but myself.
Myself.
My therapist told me, she's like, you have to realize that you're not called to save everybody.
Right. And that's why I said when I hit these fours and God came and spoke to me and he gave me what he gave me, I put it in this scenario. I had to take the cape off because I
Mm-hmm.
was, and here's what God said to me. I couldn't see it, but he was like, you're running around here trying to save everybody else, but when are you going to save you?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't understand that at first, but then after those quiet, in those quiet moments when God talks to you and you have those conversations with your, you know, I say God because that's my higher power, but when you have those quiet moments and he speaks to you and he says these things, and at one point I was like, save myself. No, I got to save grandma. I got to save cousin Rick. I got to save auntie. I got to save mama. I got to save this person. I got to save that person. He was like, no, you don't. No, you
Yep.
don't.
No, you don't. That
Because
that
who's saving you?
that goes back to I went to a veterans retreat, and it was weird because she was like, the lady was like, get spoons out of the bag. And so, I'm like, it's a game. Or is it the person with the least amount of spoons left? And so, I got my spoons. So then she started going through all of these situations. And she's like, put a spoon down if you do this, put a spoon down if you do this, put a spoon down if you do this. So at the end, I had no spoons left. And so she revealed that the spoons that you had left was for you. So now I know that people can't take my spoons. They have to take what I leave in the bowl. They can't take out of the bowl before I take out of the bowl.
Right.
So, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I totally get it and I understand. And like I said, I just started learning that lesson that I didn't value myself as much as I should have. I did not value myself as much as I should have. And now at my age and where I'm currently at in life when it comes to employment, my relationship status, everything, I value me more than anything else. I love my wife to death, but sometimes I need some space from her. I love my children. Sometimes I need some space from them. You've been a grandma for,
I
you
tell
said,
my kids to go home in a hot minute. I
ah,
will tell them to go home in a hot minute. My daughter's the oldest, and she comes over a lot more. I have one that still lives at home,
why is
but
it
my
always
daughter
the
will come.
oldest? Why? I got a son that lives
I'll be
here.
like, girl, go home.
Yeah, I try. The oldest one, come over here and live on her off days. I'd be like, why? You got a whole apartment where you paying all these bills and all this stuff at. Why don't you go home? Why they do that?
Do what I do. Look, I will take off. Like if I'm out, I just stop in our house and I go come in and I sit down on the couch and I go through the refrigerator. She be like, Mama. I'll be like, Mama, what? Like
Man,
you do it at my house.
right.
You
But
stay
yeah,
home then.
I've got one that still lives here, but my oldest daughter, she comes. My second daughter, she's about to make us a grandpa. So we'll be having our first grandchild in July.
I can tell you, you will be. It's a wrap for you.
Oh yeah, I'm already ready for my grandson. I'm already ready. I will put the rest of these suckers down for my grandson because I feel like you said. I mean, I have worked a lot in my life, and my kids know that daddy's always. That's why I chose the job that I work now, because I spent 18 years in kitchens all across Nashville, Tennessee. I spent 8 years of Christmases, New Year's, holidays, birthdays, anniversaries. I was daddy's at work. Where's your dad? Oh, my daddy at work. Who gonna come? I had to leave work. If something happened to school, got to leave work, go pick up the kids, bring them back to work. There was a time where I had a toddler and an infant in the office while I'm working, trying to finish out my day because I had to go get the kids because something happened at the daycare. So I brought the baby and the small child. Y'all said in the office, here, color this picture. Make sure your sister don't holler. Put the bottle in her mouth. If she stinks, you come and get me. I'll come out the kitchen and come back and change her and go back. But that's always been me. So the job I have now, it's school. So when they're in school, I'm at work. When they're not in school, we out together.
Exactly.
So I tell people the main reason why I chose this job was because of the schedule. I mean, I love the schedule. Like I said, me and the wife, we went to the beach for spring break. Of course, the kids, we are a blended family. Okay. So my wife came with kids when I met her, and I had kids when I met her, but we have 5 children together. She has grown children. I have one grown child, and then I have some smaller children. I kind of slipped and bumped my head a few years back because the last children are 9 and 14, and then you go from 9 to 14 to 21, and then to 25, and then to 29. So yeah, I kind of fell and bumped my head, but those are my babies. I love them. Those girls, they get on my nerves, but yeah.
We all have those times where we lose our beans, as I call it.
Yeah. So I love them, but daddy needs his space. Daddy needs his space. Everybody needs their space. But these last few years, I've learned that if I don't take care of me, nobody will take care of me the way I'm going to take care of me.
Exactly.
I love my mother. I love my brothers. I love my sister. I love my cousins. I love everybody, but I cannot save you from you. The stupidity, the ignorance, the whatever you have going on, I can't save you because I've learned in my lifetime that the same energy that I was giving everyone else, no one was giving me.
I understand that totally. And then you can't blame nobody but you because lots of times I was the one that was letting them and be like, and then I come home and be mad after that because I'm just walk all over me or not paying attention or not realize calling me. I have to get out of work. I just got off of work and they're calling me. They want need something. And I'm like, now, then I'll be like, well, okay. And I'm huffing and puffing, can't see straight because I'm tired. But now I'll tell you no in a hot minute.
I look at I can't do it. I got some other obligations. I'm not messing with you. People, once you say no, now you're the bad guy. But at this point, I don't give a damn. Frankly, I don't give a damn. But
To where they understand that though.
yeah, they do. But it comes with anger. It comes with the dirty looks. It comes with all these things that are unnecessary because I won't feed into your ignorance. Because I put up boundaries, because I want to protect my personal space. And people don't understand, I have to protect my personal space. I've given and given and given and given and given and given to you, but you're not giving in the same manner that I've been giving. You've just been taking. You've just been taking. So we're almost at the end of this interview because we don't like to keep people for very long. So let's do a recap. So we were in the Navy. We started a women's travel group.
Yes.
We have a massage business.
Yes.
We're in school for business administration on the medical side.
Correct.
We have 3 beautiful children and 3 grandchildren. All righty. So if there was something that you could tell to the younger you, what would you tell her?
Love yourself.
Okay, that's a good one. What's your message to the world?
It's easier to be kind than it is to be unkind. I think we have a lot of people who are unkind just for kicks. And to me, it is, there's, the same energy that you spent being unkind could go a lot further if you were kind to folks and treat people the way you want to be treated.
Hey, I totally agree. So I got a few questions and then we're going to end out the show. I always ask every guest a few questions. Nothing too personal, nothing intimate. Just some fun questions just to break the monotony of all the seriousness that's been going on during this episode. And once again, I'd like to say thank you for being with us and giving us the opportunity to get to know you and get to hear your story. If we were to get into your vehicle right now, what would you be listening to?
So my car playlist is it's mixed. It has some Gladys Knight in the Pit. It also has,
I bet you ain't heard that Halo by Chris Stapleton.
right.
Halo.
It's just a mix of things. People get in my car and they're like, "What are we listening to?"
Listen, I drive a school bus and I play my music and the kids are like, what? Who is these white people you're listening to? And I'm like, this is good music.
Right. I'll go from gospel to country to blues.
Tim Bowman, as a gospel artist, Tim Bowman,
Okay.
Without You. That's what I'm saying. I feel you. We on the same page. It goes from a little bit of everything.
My guy is Mervyn Mayo in this place. I love that song.
Tim Bowman, Without You. Hey, yes, look up Tim Bowman, Without You. That's a good one. And okay, so what is your guilty pleasure, like sweets, food? What is Nakia Campbell's guilty pleasure?
I guess I would say steak. It's my food. A good steak any day. That makes me happy.
All right. So if you could describe your perfect boo, how would you describe them?
My perfect boo?
Yes, your perfect boo.
Okay. So first of all, he would have a relationship with God, and that he would be, hold on. Okay. So he would have perfect relationship with God. He would be a leader, somebody who could guide me on the path of developing a better relationship with God. He also has to love traveling and camping. But above all that, he has to be willing and able to have a relationship with my grown kids. Not, lots of times when people get to dating and they have grown kids, everybody has their opinion. So they would have to get to know each other. That would be that. And he'd have to love my grandkids as much as I do.
Okay.
I love my 4-legged baby. I have a 4-legged baby.
Yeah, we got one of them too. That is my wife's. Me and my wife don't have babies together except Nixie, the little 4 thing that gets on my nerves. I'm together. We have 4 girls and 1 boy, and then we go get a dog, and it's another girl. So I'm like, it's a lot of estrogen around this house. It's a lot of estrogen.
And see, I have nothing but men in my house. My son and my oldest son, my daughter stays at home, but my dog, my service, he's a service dog. Our service dog is a boy. He is very hungry.
Well, it sounds like we are kindred spirits. And again, I'd like to say thank you. And I always extend, you're welcome. I always extend an interview to our Friday night show. We do a show on Fridays called Freestyle Fridays where we have an open forum. We do a 2-hour live show. It's mainly men on the panel, but if you want to come in and talk, it's always fine. I tell women, come in and listen and just listen to men have true, transparent, and vulnerable conversations. Now, it may not be on a particular subject, but we just go in and we talk about a lot of different things. So a lot of women say, I don't understand men or what they talk about or what they think about. Come into the forum and listen to the conversation and see what men think about what's going on in the world, what they think about rearing children, what they think about history, what do they think about different topics, because the conversations will go from 1 to 1,000,000. I promise you. And we talk about a little bit of everything, but that's on Friday nights at 7 o'clock. We do a 2-hour live show and I extend that to every guest. And again, tell us what the name of your travel group is.
It's called Telehoma Girlfriends Club.
Telehoma's Girlfriends Club. So we can find that on Facebook, right?
Yeah. Yep, it's on Facebook.
And tell us the name of your YouTube channel.
It's called Traveling with Kia.
Traveling with Kia. And what is the name of your massage therapy business?
It's called the Nurse's Touch 2 Massage and Skincare. I'm located at 401 Wilson Avenue, Tullahoma, Tennessee. I'm inside of the historic Coker Building.
Now, why is all of that not in your bio? Because I didn't see your Facebook page in your bio.
I tried to put it on there. I am like technical. I'm not tech savvy.
The number you got for this link to get into the show, text me all of that information and I'll put it into your bio. And once your show goes live, I'll make sure I send you back this show so you can share it with all your friends. You can share it with whoever you'd like.
Okay.
And I'll insert all those things into your bio.
Okay. Thank you. Because I was trying to get it done and I was trying to get it done before the show. I was like, wouldn't let me go in because I was like, it wouldn't let me put it in. I thought I just had to put like Traveling with Kia. I guess it's something else. It didn't.
Yeah, just shoot me all that info from the number I sent, and that's my number.
Okay.
I am the dude, aka Joe Foster.
Okay.
My name is Joe Foster. That's my government. But shoot that number. You got the link to come into here. Send me that. Now, we also tell guests that 6 months or a year from now, we're going to do re-shows. Would you be okay with coming back?
I surely would.
I appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am. And you have a great evening. And we thank you here at the Kickback. You are loved and blessed.
Thank you. Bye, David.